Hello and welcome to these tutorials about Word 2013. For the first set of these videos we will learn how to format and set up a longish document in Word, be that 2013, 2010 or others beneath them. We'll be using 2013, but if you're using an older version, most of what we're doing should still apply. Now I've seen many Word documents that are difficult to read, and this has been mostly due to poor formatting. So this will be a set of quick fire tutorials which will walk you through getting text into a document, manipulating and formatting it to something readable and useful, and some other tips to improve it as we go along. So these videos are not for people who have used Word in anger or experienced with it before. This is for newbies and beginners who are just getting to grips with Word, be that 2013 or a different word processor in the past, and they've switched over. So let's get cracking. The first thing we'll need to do is open a blank document. So as you'll see on the screen here, I've already done that, but what I'll do is I'll just close that down and I'll start a new one. So what you do is you open up Word, you go to New, and you want to choose Blank Document. There are other options in there which are going to be handled in different tutorials much later on. So here we have our blank document, and the next thing we want to do is just get some text in here. We're not going to be writing anything in these tutorials. That's a completely different kind of course. So helpfully the internet does provide, and I shall go and demonstrate where you can get some text from. I've got some demonstration text from a place called loremipsumgenerator.co.uk, but you'll find if you do a Google search for lorem ipsum something generator, that kind of thing, you'll find loads of places you can get this kind of template filler text from. So what I've done is it's given you some of the filler text here. I'm going to select it. Do it properly. There we go. Can do Control C to copy that. You could also right click and choose copy. Get rid of that. Into Word, right click, paste options, and you notice you have three options here. And if you just mouse over those three options, in the case of what we've got here, you're not going to notice any difference, but bear this in mind for future that these options are available to you, and we'll go through what you can do with those later on. But what I'm going to do, just for the purpose of demonstration now, is press Control V, and it's dropped all this text in there. Now I want a bit more than this, because I want to make quite a long document. So what I'm going to do first of all is, that's quite handy as a hyperlink, but I don't want that just yet. So I'm going to get rid of that. And you'll notice that as we go along, all this text is getting nasty red underlines on it. This is Word's spell checker that's kicking in, and it's already moaning about that, so we need to turn that off in a moment. In fact, let's do that first. So what it's doing is it's scanning through the text and looking for grammatical and spelling errors, and it's found so many because this is all in Latin speak that it can't compute it all. So we go to File, Options, and we go to Proofing. And for the now, I'm going to untick Check Spelling as I type, Mark Grammar Errors as I type, Frequently Confused Words, and Check Grammar with Spelling. I'm going to untick all of that because I don't want it to start searching through when we've got this template text in there. And click OK. Now what I want to do is I want to make this longer. Now I'm not going to go to the website again because there's no need. What I'm going to do is press Control A to highlight all the text, Control and C to copy it. I'm going to put a couple of return lines beneath where it's finished off here, and do Control V to paste, Control V to paste again, Control V to paste again, Control V to paste again. So that's added quite a number of, let me just straighten that up there, we go. And that's added quite a number of pages. You can see down in the bottom left hand corner now, we've got 26 pages, and that's a fairly lengthy document for us to be working with. That's quite good. So if you're a new word processor user and you just open it up and started typing, this Latin aside is the kind of thing you will be faced with, and as you can see, it's not the easiest thing to read. So what we're going to do with the next few videos is going to add in things like titles and subtitles and tables of contents and some other formatting options, just to make it tidier, easier to read, and make more logical sense. First thing we want to do though is we want to break this up. So I'm just going to create some paragraphs, and you can do that in this case just by putting your cursor in somewhere and pressing enter. I'm just going to do paragraphs all over the place just to break this thing up. Add a text, it's just filler. It doesn't matter, this makes no sense at all. I just want to create some sections within our document, within the first few pages at least. I'm doing that at the beginning of sentences just because that's going to make our lives just a little bit easier. Yeah, that's useful there. And I'm going to put some line spaces at the top. So I've selected right up at the top here in the top left hand corner and press enter a few times just to create myself some spaces. So the first thing we want in that document is we need a title. We need something that announces what the document is. So if I type in "this is my title," again, it's not sticking, it's not standing out, it's not anything special, but it needs to be because it's the title. Now by default, Word helps us out by that with some things called styles, and you have these up here. Now we're going to go into how to edit and use styles a bit later on. So for now, just take the demonstration as read, and we'll go into those in a bit more detail in a later video. So what I'm going to do is use my cursor to a mouse to highlight my title text, and you'll see in the styles there's a title style, and if you leave your cursor over it, it shows you what it will look like without actually doing it. If I move my mouse away, it goes back, mouse on, comes back. So I'm just going to select that. There we go. What I want to do now is create some subtitles. So create some there. I'm going to make that first subheading, put a control in there, and this is simple enough to do. Again, I'm going to highlight that text. Nope, use my grammar. Let's put a full stop in there. There we go. Doesn't matter, but it helps my OCD. There we go. Select that text and then choose heading 1. There we go. And I'm going to do that on the next paragraph. Oops. If you're ever clicking or typing or changing something in here and you make a mistake, you can undo what you've done. As you just see, I did there. You can press Control and Z or Control and Z, depending on which side of the Atlantic you're on. Or on the top left, you see this undo option there, which you can click on. So I want to make that a subheading as well. I'm going to choose heading 1. There we go. So we've created a title and we've created a couple of headings. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the rest of the document offline and put some more subheadings in there, as you've seen, and in the next video we'll come back with it a bit more formatted using the same techniques you've seen above. It's just going to make our life a bit easier in the next video, and I'll see you then.